All right, we are here with Olga Roach's codes. It has been a while. I'm still coding and it's been a freaking journey, but there's been a lot of changes and updates, and we are delving into the world of React. And so this is just going to be kind of like a journal entry. I don't know who's going to stumble across this video and watch this, and I just want to get better at speaking my coding brain. So it's probably going to be, it's not scripted or anything like that, but I wanted to kind of just showcase this milestone of having the first view ready on my site. And this is in React. It took a while to kind of get it all up and running, but I'll walk you guys through it here. And so, yeah, we have different entities on my site. We have organizers, we have artists, we have events, and all of these are kind of like moving all together, I guess, to give a snapshot. It's Ruby on Rails that I'm using the code, and I'm using Inertia to create the data that is the front end is grabbing for React. And with React, I am starting to reactify a lot of different parts of the site. So as of right now, the navbar is in React. We have a Mantine that I'm using for my UI library, and the navigation menu here is also running in React with Mantine, and that's running really well. And also the forms, that's actually where I started most of my reactifying, was just making it easier to add events and such. And there has been like this really quirky issue with navigation sometimes. I might need to open up a new, see, the URL changed. So I'm not moving the cursor now. If I move the cursor, then it goes back again. Interesting. So let's click on manage. We'll grab this URL just to show the edit view here. Also running in Mantine with the slug. There are some automations that get the slug and parameterize the slug accordingly, which is pretty cool. Mantine is running the rich text editor with TipTap. We have our artist selections here, and you can see the avatars are coming up, which is pretty cool. And we have a typo here. We'll do that with that comma. And there's also a drop zone here to bring in new images, which is pretty cool. We're on production now, so I'm not going to change that now. I'll probably update that later. There's also some notifications as well as we update different things on the site. So yeah, things are starting to run a little bit smoothly here. We have a simple badge here that is pulling from the organizer status from the backend on Rails. And this little Mantine badge here that we have at the top is inspired from Luma. I don't know if you guys have heard of Luma, but yeah, they kind of have like these little, hey, you have access, you have managed access for this event. And I really like that. And so part of my coding brain evolving has been pretty cool, because I am taking this now and I created a component for this, because like I said, we have entities here. So we have organizers, we have events, we have artists, we have posts. And so users will be able to manage different things here. So I was able to create a dynamic manage badge component here. And basically it takes the URL and sees like, hey, is it one of these particular entities here? And I guess the way that it was also worded was also interesting. You have manage access was shorter. Sweet, that'd be a little shorter. So yeah, so it takes the slug, it takes the text, and then from there we have a box element here that's already styled, and yeah, that'll take it to the edit view of the organizer to basically manage that badge, and it'll be reusable. So now when I go to create the event views, the artist views, and the post views, I'll be able to use the same badge, so I don't have to recreate that all over again. So a lot of my brain has been thinking of creating these components so I can manage them together and, you know, DRY, not repeat yourself. From there, we have the image, which is just the logo here. We have the event organizer name, the website links, which is pretty cool, and the bio. Some of the bios are longer, so there's a read more section here, but it's not going up here because it's longer. And there's also, well, it's not here, but there's an image upload component as well, but that's more for the forms. Here we're also checking if the user is subscribed to the organizer, so that's also pretty cool that it's reading that. There are the URLs, and I don't know if I'm going to put the subscriber count there now or find a better way to do it, but I have that commented out for right now. And yeah, and then we get into the tabs. All of the icons here I'm pulling in from Tabular React, which is pretty cool. I've was using Font Awesome before when I was using the ERB views in Ruby, but this one I really like a lot, lots more options, and you don't have to worry about hitting any limits from what I can tell right now. And so, yeah, we have upcoming events, past events, artists, and the calendar view, which is pulling from full calendar. And there's going to be a videos database, but that's not working just yet. So I had to create a artist card here. And so if we pull that up, we have components and then cards. Event artist card is pulling in some different elements here, which is pretty nice. And one thing that I really wanted to do was to create the freaking drawers. So we have a event card component, and we also have a dynamic drawer component. And this is another example of dynamic data, because again, this drawer is going to be used on different views. So I have, in this particular instance, the drawer is opening up for events. And I just love that feeling with React and just seeing the drawers come up. I tried to do this with Vanilla.js on the ERB views. It was a hot mess. And so, yeah, there was a lot of tweaking here to kind of get it all working correctly. And again, this navigation here at the top was very much Luma inspired to copy the links or navigate to the event page. And from here, we're pulling in the event dance styles, the artists that are for the event in the avatar. And so this is all running through Mantine and just styling some of those core elements, which is pretty cool. And then there is some work in the organizer's controller, and this is not pulling anything, so I will delete this. So here we're showing the organizer's show. And so as you're seeing here, this is where Inertia is serving up the data that is going to be kind of connected on the React side for Inertia. So you can see I'm sending out organizer data, video data, upcoming events, past events, and all calendars. I had to also set there because it was working weird with the calendar view as well, because I have it to where, like, if you have any artists that are associated with the organizer, those events will also pull into the calendar view as well. And so, yeah, that was able to get this to work. So now even if I click on an event in the full calendar, it still pulls up the drawer and pulls up the right data, which is pretty cool. So from here, I can see my upcoming calendar. I forgot to say I am an actual dance instructor, and I do travel to do different events and teach. So I am very much a dancer and instructor, and also teaching myself to code. And so this is a live project that I've been working on for the past couple of years. And yeah, I want to eventually monetize this site, but I'm trying to build it to keep everything flowing. Yeah, I should create a whole nother video just on that, on like why I even started building this site. But yeah, we have event cards that are pulling from the Inertia data here that's coming from the show method here. And it'll be the same for if I was doing the edit view. You will see render Inertia, that data goes out there. Same thing for updates. All of these things have to be kind of like render Inertia to get them to work out accordingly, especially with the forms. I do have a bookmark function that is not working right now, that'll have to be built in, but I'm taking things step by step. So we talked about the event cards, we talked about the pagination, which is also pretty cool. And I can see all the places that I've been teaching at overall, and that's pretty cool. Oh, and these events are coming up in reverse order. I might need to check the order of the events here. So it's showing the latest events instead of the, and that's only on the past events calendar. Okay. We have an artist card as well that's pulling in the artists, and the artist page also comes up rendering the same dynamic drawer, which is pretty cool. Calendar view is pulling from full calendar on React, and I connected the click to the drawer as well, so that's the same information comes up. And so this is pretty awesome. It took me a few days in my spare time to kind of get this up and running, but yeah, this is kind of like the first milestone of getting a view on React. I still need to bring the footer onto React as well, but yeah, step by step, I just wanted to kind of show all of the data that is happening here. Let's go into the organizer show and see if there's anything else. We have our upcoming tabs. So obviously you list all the tabs first and then the data below them. And yeah, this is all working with a TypeScript and some, nothing too crazy here. I ran into a couple of snags here and there, but luckily with Claude 3.7, we're able to get through those and get them all going through. So far, loving Mantine and loving React, and probably the next view I'm going to work on here is going to be the organizer view. And just to give context here, I'm going to pull up my help thing that I'm using on GitHub desktop. You'll see some of the old logos here as well. We're working on updating those in the team, but if I click on organizers here, this is the organizer backend that you can see some of the forms just using the ERB views. You're not going to be able to see the view, but it was a little bit what it was looking like before. I'll pull up an event here. We have upcoming events, and let's get one that has multiple artists. Yeah, I was getting things running and things were working okay, but trying to like get some of the artist thingamajiggies, I was trying to get the drawer, or it was a modal, and it was just kind of janky with everything that was here. And here is just kind of like re-rendering the page, and then it took a while to come up, and then it wasn't that responsive. So yeah, React is going to give a lot better experience and overall color scheme in general. Instead of these three dots, I'm having the manage icon come in, and then it's going to be a whole thing that people can use to manage as well. So yeah, you can see all of these same events here, but if we go to that micro kisses event, you'll see all the dance styles, you'll see the same artists. So the next step will be to get these other events up and running. But again, I just want to get used to putting this up on the internet to hold myself accountable. And hey, this could be helpful for some other users. If you have any questions about how I'm using Ruby on Rails with React, let me know. And yeah, the journey continues. I'm also going to be working on getting private lessons up and running as well. And that's going to be probably my first revenue thing going through. So yeah, this is Charles with Ogre Codes signing off.